Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another on Pattison podcast with me, Mike Miscellaneous, and my partner, Anthony Sanfilippo, brought to us by the good folks at the law firm of Wapner Newman. Hello, Ann. How are you today?
Doing good, Michael. Good to see you.
I know you're all pumped up. You got Olympic hockey, and I'm representing my country here with the USA hat today.
Yeah, I see that. Good look on you.
Well, yeah, I don't know how good a look it is, but at least I'm representing. Well, we got plenty of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah,
A lot of stuff on the Phillies and Bryce Harper, and we'll put a bow on the Nick Castellanos talk. We got the Eagles coming up. The Combine is coming up. What will the Eagles be focused on? We still have the A.J. Brown. Will he be traded or not? We have some fictional trades that we're going to go over. And the Sixers at the All-Star break, they resume back tonight. Maxey and VJ with a pretty good weekend. And we'll talk about the tanking in the NBA, and also my super duper plan to reform the dunk contest. I have had a great plan for years and years and years, and nobody is listening to me. So we're gonna try to do it again. Somebody out there might be listening and implement this. I think it's a no-brainer at this point. We'll get to that in a second. But right now, Nick Castellanos, the Phillies releasing him was on the same day we did last week's podcast, Dan.
Yeah.
Breaking news right on our podcast.
Yeah, we had the first reaction, Mike, I think, of anybody when that happened. We had Tim Kelly on from Clearwater last week, and as we were talking to Tim, the news broke. And then, of course, it was crazier because we didn't even realize it, and I ended up reading it live on the show last week. Like, he wrote that handwritten manifesto.
Handwritten manifesto with a lot of misspellings, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, as a guy who pays attention to grammar and English, you know, I was a little offended by Nick. You know, it's T-O-O, right? It's not T-O.
Yeah.
It's T-O-O.
That's one that gets everybody, right?
Yeah. All right. So he had a lot of things to say when he went to San Diego. And one of them was that he's going to be privileged now to be playing for a guy who's actually done it on the field. You know, I hear that a lot. You know, the athletes have this attitude that if you didn't play the game, you have no idea what you're talking about. That usually goes towards the media. But in this case, he put it towards Rob Thompson, who's been in the game an awful long time. And I thought it was a really cheap shot of Nick Castellanos. And I at this point, I can't stand the guy. I got to be honest with you. He rubbed me the wrong way when he was a Philly. He rubs me the wrong way even more now.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's certainly an acquired taste, Mike. There's no doubt about it. And I understand why fans flocked to him and thought that there was something that they really liked about him. I also understand why he drove people crazy. Right? It was a mix of the two. But there were people who loved that guy in this town. Absolutely loved that guy because of
Which
his
I never
attitude.
got. Huh? Tell me why they loved him. I never got it.
Because he just had that, you know, he had a little bit of an attitude, right? He was always good to the fans. He was always saluting the fans and things like that. And so, you know, you pander a little bit to a fan base.
And the Liam thing, listen, the Liam thing helped.
Liam thing helped, right?
Everybody fell for that whole Liam thing.
Yeah.
I got a little cynical. I thought it was like way over the top after a while.
Well, I think it bothered some people in the organization. I mean, obviously, if you read Matt Gelb's story in The Athletic, like there was a time towards the end, right? They were getting ready for the playoffs, and Real Muto wanted to take BP, and he had to wait for Liam.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's a terrible
That's
thing.
problematic.
Anyway, in general, what did you think of his shot against Rob Thompson?
Well, I think it's unfair. Because I've talked to I talked to Rob a lot, and I've talked to a lot of players about their relationships with Rob. You heard Whit Merrifield went on a podcast. He was here for a hot minute, and he said that Rob Thompson was his favorite manager because of how communicative he was. And like, you know, he's always talking to you, always telling you where you stand. And if for some reason something gets missed, his door's always open for you to walk in and ask him, and he gives you a clear answer. So, like, to me, this is Castellanos is just caught up in himself and not so much in the team. And it's funny, Mike, there was an interesting thing. Our old friend Jason Stark put a story out in the Athletic. I don't know if you saw this, put a story out in the Athletic where he polled executives from around the league, right, about what the best reduction was in the off season. And overwhelmingly, everybody said Nick Castellanos from the Phillies, and that poll was taken before he was actually released by the Phillies.
Wow, that's amazing. That really is. Well, listen, good luck. He's going to play first base over there with the Padres. Good luck to him. I'm glad I'm not going to see him very often now because they're out west. So Nick Castellanos gone and probably forgotten very quickly in this city.
Not until June when they come into town. Early June, they're here.
Yeah, well,
that'll be a busy week.
What do you think? There'll be predominantly cheers or boos?
I think the fans will cheer him. I do, but I do think that there is the possibility. Like, look, he's going to have to do an interview, right, with all the Philly media. I think there's a possibility that something gets said that goes pretty viral, and that could sway things a little bit.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Klaus Schwarber, who was really kind of put on the spot. Didn't know.
Yeah.
He was tap dancing on this question, but they asked him whether Nick Castellanos was a distraction last year. Now, I never really took it to that level that he was a distraction to the team. But in retrospect, now I guess you got to look at that question whether he was a distraction. So Kyle Schwarber was asked, and listen to how he hum on this quote.
This is a great. It
really is. Listen closely here.
Yeah.
Do you think the situation with Nick last year was a distraction?
I mean, that's here nor there. I mean, it's, we did what we did, right? I felt like that in the Dodgers series that, we played good games, right? Like there were just things that we didn't execute, and we didn't walk away with wins at the end of the day. So it's hard to say here or there, right? Like, we put ourselves in the position where we wanted to be, and we just got knocked out. So can't really say.
Now, he could have answered that really directly. He could have said, no, it wasn't a distraction.
Yeah.
But the fact that he hemmed and hawed, is that an indication that he was a distraction?
He was very Jackie Gleason there, wasn't he?
Hamana. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that said a lot.
People don't know, the youngsters that are, they didn't know that reference, Jackie Gleason.
The Honeymooners.
The Honeymooners with the Flintstones was based after the Honeymooners and all that stuff. So you don't want to go into TV history, but I got it. That's more importantly, I got your reference.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Yeah, but the interesting thing to me, Mike, was how he answered it, because what I can tell you, because I was there in Los Angeles when they lost the playoff series. Yeah. And we walked into that locker room, clubhouse, and there was Schwarber and Castellanos like sitting side by side, having a little bit of a heart-to-heart, like a conversation. So Schwarber was like the one guy I feel out of everybody who still maintained some kind of solid footing relationship with Castellanos, because the other guys kind of distanced themselves, whether it was Harper or Real Muto or Turner. Like those guys kind of distanced themselves from him. I felt like Schwarber was the one guy who didn't. And so I really think that the way he answered that question showed that he was uncomfortable answering it, because maybe he didn't find Castellanos as a distraction, but the rest of the team did, and he didn't know how to.
Yeah, it's almost like that answer that there was something there.
Yeah,
because he could have said no. I mean, he wasn't a distraction. It was no big deal. We just got beat.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, and it was. That's why the hemming and hawing at the beginning, where he's looking for a response.
I don't think he expected the question.
Well, because he had already answered. So the best, if you for context, there was another question about Castellanos before that, right? Yeah. And that he answered that wasn't a terrible answer, wasn't a great answer. It was just kind of an answer. And then the follow-up question was he a distraction?
Yeah.
And I think that he was not expecting that question.
Yeah. And maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to topic A when it comes to the Phillies. and that's Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
This thing with what Dave Dombrowski said about him, I didn't think at the time was bad. But no. Bryce takes every moment to remind people that it was bad. He's got a big set of rabbit ears on him.
Yes, he does.
And he he will actually introduce the topic when it's not even asked. And for evidence of that, let's go to this podcast called Bussin' with the Boys, Taylor Lewan, and I don't know who the other guy is, but
Will Salmon.
Will Compton.
Yeah. Compton, that's who it is.
Will Compton.
That's
And so they have Bryce Harper on Bussin' with the Boys. I don't know how they were able to get him, but this is before spring training. And I just want you to listen to what they say and how he reacts to it, because he introduces the topic that's not being introduced to him. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so just so you know how they got him real quick, Mike.
Yeah.
They're based in Nashville, and that's where Bryce lives in the offseason.
Okay. Yeah, why does he live in Nashville?
He bought a home there a couple off seasons ago. That's where he's at in the off. He's no longer in Vegas. He's in Nashville now. Yeah.
All right. So he's in Nashville. They're in Nashville. Let's hear how they introduce this thing, whether the word elite comes about.
I don't know about elite things because I'm not elite anymore. So,
hey, oh yeah, shit. Hey, what the fuck?
I don't know, man.
Was it the GM?
It's a good word right there.
Was it the GM that said that?
President.
The president comes on. He does a press conference. He says Bryce is no longer an elite player.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, hold on.
So he can play great instead of good.
Yeah.
But stay great instead of good. It's something like that. But that feels like it's like unheard of for anybody that high of a level to come on and kind of talk about a player like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think there's things within the organization that you probably shouldn't say in an outward like expression, right? Like if I had a problem with you, I'd probably, if you were on my team, I'd probably bring you to the side and talk to you. And so I think that was one thing when I signed there was like, hey, like we don't say anything about the organization outwardly or anything else. Like make sure it's behind the closed doors. And if you have a problem, like we'll talk about it.
Keep it family.
No doubt. And so I think that's the kind of where it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit with that kind of stuff. Like I respect Dave and everything that he's done in the game and everything else. He's great at his job and stuff. But, I think for me personally, like if you have a problem, like you can talk to me and have an issue with it, like the way I'm playing or whatever. Like it's not going to motivate me. Like that's the thing. Like anything that people say like that doesn't motivate me. Like kind of just like.
But that kind of transparency is always helpful, like within the relationship.
So I'm gonna stop it there, Mike.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because I know what you want to talk about, and I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
Right. Like he brought it up.
Yeah. He heard the word elite,
and it triggered
not being referred to into his situation.
Right.
And he turned it into his situation.
Yes. So that kind of triggered him. And then, he put out the Instagram thing over the winter where he was working out and he had the not elite t-shirt on.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like,
he keeps the fire going.
Yeah. But for him to say, and this is where I don't believe him, for him to say that I don't need motivation, that's not going to motivate me. But the fact that you keep bringing it up and keep talking about it, it's got to be motivating you, right? I mean, it's got to be in the back of your mind at all times.
This motivation thing, I go, a player like Bryce Harper is motivated every day to do his best. Like he doesn't need words to motivate him. I always thought that was a bunch of bunk, that whole thing. But let's look at the Dombrowski thing, because Dombrowski is kind of flying under the radar on this. Ford 9065 chimes in on the text board. So the president of a professional sports team is not allowed to comment on the play of a player making $35 million a year or whatever it is. Cry me a freaking river. Well, let me just say that Dombrowski should have never said that. Just like Doc Rivers should have never said that about Ben Simmons way back in the day. You just can't throw, no matter if you're thinking that or not, you don't throw your own guy under the bus that way. Now, what he tried to say was he didn't have an elite year. And he didn't have an elite year. He had a good year. He didn't have an elite year. And I think Dombrowski thought he was safe by saying that. But when you put that out there, it has different connotations to the player itself and also the fan base.
Yeah, but here's where I'm at with this, Mike. I think Bryce was a little too sensitive about it, because in my mind, what Dombrowski said, and I think if we actually, I don't have the clip, so I can't play it, but if I'm just going off of recollection, I was sitting there at the press conference when he said it. He said he had his season was not elite. We'll see if he can get back to that again. That was not saying that it's done. Like he can't do it anymore.
I get it, but you still shouldn't say anything. You shouldn't even say his season wasn't elite. Like, why would you say that? What's the payoff of that?
because I think that if you wanted to win a championship, you needed Bryce to be better than he was.
Well, of course you needed him to be better, but you don't have to say it to the
I
press.
I think it's more like, okay, I'm putting this out there. Now go out there and do it next season. Because in a lot of ways, I think that they look at this year, Mike, as a real like last chance for this group, because you have the lockout looming next year. Nobody knows how much baseball is going to be missed, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't know. And so like this is like a real last gasp effort, last crack at it. Go out and have an MVP year.
Listen, I agree with everything you're saying here. I'm just saying, like, if you go back to the Doc Rivers thing, can Ben Simmons be an elite point guard on a championship team? He said, I don't know the answer to that. Now, you can't say that. As much as everybody you say is thinking that, you can't. Your own guy can't say it. Just like your own guy can't say, well, Bryce didn't have an elite year. You can say, we expect Bryce to have a better year than last year. You don't have to say that what he said.
Here's the difference for me, Mike. Doc Rivers was the coach of the team, right?
Yeah.
I think that's too low of a level to say. I think I agree with you there. But if the president, to me, there are only two people who have the gravitas to say what they say about Bryce Harper. And it's Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton. And it just so happened that Dombrowski was the one that said it. Like if
John Middleton would never say anything like that.
No, of course you are, but that's different. That's Middleton. But if like Rob Thompson was the guy who said that, I think we would be having a different conversation.
It would be hotter. It would certainly be a hotter topic if Rob Thompson said it. I'm just saying, like, I'm not on anybody's side here. I disagree with the way Bryce is. He's kind of being a baby over this whole thing, to be honest with you.
Yes.
But by the same token, I don't think that Dombrowski should have even come close to saying what he said.
You look, I can understand it. It's certainly it surprised me. Like I was surprised when he said it. We all knew right away. Like as soon as he said it, we all are kind of like looking at each other like, "Oh, there's a story."
Yeah.
And, you've had those moments, right? You remember those moments.
A lot of people text were saying, "I don't agree. He can say it. He's the president of the team." Listen, you can say anything you want. You also have to be mindful of how it's going to affect your guy. And a guy like Harper, who has rabbit ears, who's pandered to the fan base, who doesn't want anything negative at all said about him or thought about him,
right?
You got to consider the source.
Look, I get it. I understand
You're
it.
never going to agree with me. You're not going to agree with me on this.
I'm not, because I think that they needed more out of. I was around that team a lot last year, like 2/3 of the season, for those games last year. I think I ended up covering 90 some games or whatever it was. And I remember thinking to myself a lot of times with Bryce, there's just something not there with him. Something's a little off. And I'm not sure what it is. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something wasn't right. And it makes me think that if Dombrowski saw it as well and felt like he just needed a little needle to kind of get him going.
So you think that maybe Dombrowski was contrived in doing something like this?
Oh, I totally think it was planned. I don't think Dave Dombrowski says anything publicly that he doesn't want to say.
Interesting. Well, in any event, we can agree that Bryce has thin skin. So now he gets to spring training. And here's what he had to say. He brings it up again, and they start talking about it again. Here's what Bryce Harper had to say. Spring training.
Baseball.
Sorry.
Dave made those comments in October. And then, you wore that not elite T-shirt, taking BP one day. How much of a motivator is that to you, or has that been to you this offseason?
Not really. I mean, I don't get motivated by that kind of stuff. For me, it was kind of wild, the whole situation of that happening. I think the big thing for me was, when we first met with this organization, it was, hey, we're always going to keep things in-house, and we expect you to do the same thing. And so, when that didn't happen, kind of took me for a run a little bit. So I don't know, it's part of it, I guess. It was kind of a wild situation, that even happening. Obviously I didn't have the year that I wanted. Obviously I didn't have the postseason I wanted. My numbers weren't where they needed to be. I know that. And, I don't need to be motivated to be great, in my career or anything else. So that's just not a motivating factor for me. For Dave to come out and say those things, it's kind of wild to me still.
Why did you wear the T-shirt then?
For the motivation?
Or, what the not elite T-shirt during BP that you posted on TikTok, was there any message behind that, or was that just what was it?
No, I mean, they made the shirts for me and I wore them, so I mean, if they're going to make them, I'm going to wear them.
Did you have a chance to talk to Dave about what he meant by what he was saying or why he did say it?
I just think the conclusion is, obviously we keep things in-house, and that's just how it, how it's always been. And in that moment, it just didn't happen. And I think my locker is always open for them to come and talk to me, and vice versa. So, it is what it is right now.
All right. He's not motivated, but he brings it up every chance he gets.
Yes.
And to wear the T-shirt, they make the T-shirt, and if they're going to make it for him, he's going to wear it. I mean, that's such BS. That's such a BS answer.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I wish somebody would have asked it, and I would have liked to have been there to ask it. When he said that, my initial thought, and I was watching the clip, was like, well, who's they? Who made the T-shirt?
Yeah, who is they?
All right. Did that come from somebody who works for the team? Did that come from just some buddy of yours who owns a T-shirt shop? Did that come from Under Armour?
Absolutely a buddy.
Right? Like, who did it? Like, that's what I'm saying. I'd love to know who they are. But you're right, Mike. You're absolutely right. It's constantly on his mind. And if we watch the whole that video with Bussin' with the Boys, the guys down in Tennessee, he's on that show for over 2 hours. Like we showed a 2-minute clip. Like, go and find that on YouTube. Watch the whole thing. He has a lot of things to say on there. And if you could tell, it's just like, it's the one time, like everything else, he's very lighthearted and fun and having good conversation. Yeah. It was the one thing, though, that he intentionally brought out, that he intentionally wanted to make sure that he talked about it.
A lot of people think
about a person.
A lot of people think that this is good, that it's going to motivate him. You mean to tell me if he steps into the batter's box against a tough left-hander, that he's going to be thinking, I'll get it because of what Dave Dombrowski said, I'll show him here. Like that doesn't happen in baseball. It does not happen. Yeah. So when he says he's not motivated, he is definitely motivated by it. He is driven by it, but not when he's in the batter's box is he going to be driven by it.
No, he's not. I guarantee he's not thinking about that when he's up at the
start of a game. Well, I'm really going to show Dave now I'm elite. I'm going to go out and get 3 hits. Like people say, oh, that's going to motivate him. Like I don't get that it's going to motivate him. And he says it's not going to motivate him. Although I think it is motivating him, even though I don't believe in that kind of motivation.
Well,
if that makes any sense.
I think it's motivating him to be better than he was last year.
Yeah,
but it's not going to, in each at bat, it's not going to be, back of mind. I got to think about this and go up to the plate and prove that I'm still an elite player. I think it's a collective thing. Like, it's going to motivate him for the season, right? Like, that's the thing that I look for. And look, it's going to come up. This is not going to die. It's going to die for now because there's no reason to keep beating a dead horse here. But if he gets into a stretch of games where he's struggling during the season, this is going to come back up. If he gets into a stretch of games where he's out of control, good. This is going to come back up. Like, see, Bryce is still an elite
he was
player.
motivated.
It's not going away.
Dombrowski motivated him. Look how he's playing.
Yeah.
It's really a kerfluffle or kerfuffle, as they say. Whatever that word is, kerfluffle. I think
kerfuffle is correct. Yes.
Yeah. So in any event, all right. I want to hear him say one more thing. This is about the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
He lauded the Dodgers. And a lot of people are going, the Dodgers are public enemy number one. They're spending the most money of anybody. They're outspending people. It's why we're talking about a salary cap, the whole thing. But Bryce didn't look at it that way. So here's the way Bryce looked at the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Baseball. Yeah, no, I mean, I love what the Dodgers do, obviously. I mean, they pay the money, they spend the money. I mean, they're a great team. They understand how to run it. They run their team like a business, and they run it the right way. They understand where they need to put their money into, but also people don't look at this either. Their draft and their development is unbelievable. Like, they draft and they develop and then they trade those guys for big name guys and they can spend the money. So I don't know. It bothers me when everybody talks about the Dodgers just spending money. No, they draft, they develop, they do it the right way. They understand what it takes to be the best team in baseball. And you've seen that the last 2 years. They have so much depth. I mean, I think it was Will Klein, the kid's name was, came in and threw 6 shutout innings. Like, I mean, he was sitting in Arizona 2 weeks before. Like, they have that type of dynamic on their club, and that's what when you think about drafting, developing, and things like that, that's why they win, and that's why they win a lot of games each year. So, I love what they do. I understand what they do. I understand the madness behind it. But again, like each team in baseball has an opportunity to do the same thing. Maybe not at the upper echelon of money, but they can draft, they can develop, they can trade, and I don't know. I think a lot of teams can do that in baseball, and they should.
Yeah. First of all, no player is ever going to say that the Dodgers spent too much money, because it only hurts their own pocketbook. But were you surprised that he went that far with the praise of the Dodgers?
No, because this isn't the first time he's done it, right? Like I remember beginning of last year, after the Ohtani signing and everything else, and people were talking to him, they asked him about it, and he said, I don't like people who complain about it. He says, you want to beat the Dodgers, go out and do what they do, right? Spend like they spend, and go. And I don't think, and the other thing that I think fans mistook it for, I don't think it was a criticism of the Phillies by any stretch of the imagination. Because the Phillies are one of the teams that do what the Dodgers do.
Exactly.
Right?
They're like third in payroll in the whole Major League Baseball.
So it wasn't a criticism of the Phillies. It was a criticism of the sport that not enough teams are that committed to winning. So I'm okay with Bryce saying that. Like, I really am. I think that, I'm of the mindset that I don't like salary cap sports. I know the other three major sports in town are all salary capped. I think that there are more... there's less parity in those leagues than there is in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's take our first break of the show. We'll come back. We'll talk some Eagles with A.J. Brown, possible trades. I saw some fictional trades out there. I want to pick your brain on what you think the best one is, if they in fact trade him. There are mixed signals going on right now, whether they want to trade him or not. But in any event, it is the On Pattison podcast with Mike Miscellaneous, Anthony Sanfilippo. Winners win. Wapner Newman has been winning for families throughout the Philadelphia and New Jersey area since 1978. If you need a winner, just call Wapner Newman, 215-569-0900, or visit them online at wapnernewman.com. That's WAPNERNEWMAN.com. Back after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Bring your party to Chicky and Pete's. We can handle groups of all sizes at our locations across the Delaware Valley. Big parties, small parties, company parties, family parties, get-togethers with friends. Order off the menu or our special catering options. We can do it all, including coming to your home or office, or special Play 2 party packages at our South Philly location. Book your party today. Hurry, the space is limited. Visit chickyandpete's.com for details. Chicky and Pete's is official caterer of the Philadelphia Eagles Touchdown Club and a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
Your house isn't just a home. It's a powerful tool that allows you to do more. With the Penn Community Bank Home Equity Loan, you can unlock your home's potential to finance whatever life throws your way. Receive reliable funding with fixed monthly payments to tackle home projects, consolidate high-interest debt, or cover big expenses. Take advantage of annual percentage rates as low as 5.24% today. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/home equity to get started. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Terms and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
The Peruzzi Automotive Group on Business Route 1 in Fairless Hills is looking for auto techs, all skill levels. Here's a chance to work for a locally owned family business that offers many benefits. For more information, call the service director, John Damarotis, at 215-943-6200. That's 215-943-6200, or visit any Peruzzi service department.
All right, back on the On Pattison podcast with Mike Miscellaneous, Anthony Sanfilippo with me here. Let's talk some Eagles. Combine is happening. What will the Eagles be looking for? Now, but some news broke today. Lane Johnson is coming back for a 16th season. That happened today. So that's all good, right?
That's important. I mean, you know that they needed to address the offensive line. They still need to address the offensive line. It would have been a real nightmare if both Johnson and Landon Dickerson, which there was reports, a couple weeks ago that both were considering retirement. If neither one of them came back, or even if one of them decided not to come back, it only made it worse. They need at least one starter, and they need some depth on that line, man. And I think that's going to be one of the things that they're looking for.
So you think that first round draft pick will be based on that?
Well, I mean, I think your first round draft pick is always the best player available, right? I mean, seriously. I mean, you teams who draft for need in the first round.
Yeah.
Sometimes they put themselves in a pickle, okay, because there were better players to take. But if the need lines up with who the best player available is, then of course, then you do it. And if there is, it's not a great draft from what I understand. I'm not a college football expert, but just reading a lot of this stuff, it seems like the draft is a light draft, but there is some line depth.
Well, let's look at this was a story that was in the Inquirer on where the draft is the deepest. Number one is it's deep in cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Now they need a corner. Maybe they would draft a cornerback to pair with Quinyon Mitchell. Number two, wide receivers. There's a healthy slate of wide receivers. They need one of those as well. Edge rushers are 3. Interior defensive line is 4. Linebackers are 5. 6 is tight ends. Now, they need a tight end as well. And there's going to be one there when they pick at 23. There's going to be one there in Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. I like that kid a lot, but he's undersized a little bit. He's 6'3". Doesn't have the big Goddard type of size. But Daniel Jeremiah, who does mock drafts for NFL Network, has the Eagles taking Clemson's Blake Miller, an offensive tackle. And Jeremiah says even if Lane Johnson decides to put off retirement, which he did today, I believe the Eagles would not mind having his eventual replacement on the roster. So there you go. Blake Miller from Clemson.
Yeah, and the Eagles have done that. Well, I know nothing about Blake Miller. I trust Daniel Jeremiah. I trust him. But the point is that the Eagles have consistently done this where they draft a guy. They don't play a lot in their first season, but then the second season they come in and they take that role and they develop these guys, right? Yeah. I know. Look, Mailata was a late pick. He was a flyer, and they he went to school with Jeff Stoutland, and all of a sudden became a legitimate All-Pro tackle. I'm not saying that everybody's going to be in that boat, but at the same time, if you have someone who does not have to come in and start right away and can play behind and study behind a future Hall of Fame tackle and then ultimately replace him, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the A.J. Brown talk. What is your feel right now on whether he's going to be an Eagle or not?
I don't know. I think they should bring him back. I don't know if they will. It's a real tough call. You keep hearing different things. And when you hear Adam Schefter uncertain about what's going to happen, like he's flip-flopped on this issue on 2 different occasions. Like the one week he said, yeah, I'm leaning towards him not coming back. Then the next week he says, actually, now I'm leaning towards he is, but I don't know. Like, I think they're going to probably put feelers out, see what they could get. If there's something that makes overwhelming sense to do, then they will trade him. But if not, then I think they will bring him back.
All right, let's go over some fictional trades because a lot of people, they're looking at the teams that could use A.J. Brown the most and what they would give up for him. Yeah. All these trades involve a number 1 pick. So the Cleveland Browns, the Eagles would get the Cleveland Browns first-round pick, which is number 24, and the Browns get A.J. Brown. Are you in or are you out?
Well, I guess I'm in. I mean,
you're in. You're in for the trade.
Well, yeah, if you're going to improve the team, I think A.J. Brown I still think he's a top 5 to 7 wide receiver in the NFL. You're getting a first-round pick, though. Like, you could do a lot with a first-round pick. You can use those 2 picks and move up and get.
Yeah, you can. Yep.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's an asset that I like. If you get that, I probably would do it. I would have to grit my teeth, though, about it, though.
Okay. Now, the Buffalo Bills have been rumored. They could really use him. Their first-round pick is 26. Are you in with that?
Yeah. I mean, I have to. If I'm first round, I'm in. First-round pick.
Okay. Anything in the first round, you're in. So now we go to the Baltimore Ravens. The 2027 second-round pick, the 2027 fourth-round pick, and wide receiver Rashad Bateman. Are you in on that?
No,
Not.
no, because to me, look, and again, you could do a lot with draft picks, no matter where they're at. And the Eagles have really, Howie Roseman's done a fine job with having all those draft pick assets and maneuvering them around. Rashad Bateman doesn't excite me. He hasn't been any good in Baltimore, really. And so, like, he doesn't personally excite me. A 2 and a 4, like, I feel like that's light. I think you need a first rounder for.
All right, let's go to the New England Patriots offer, because this is the back end of the first round. Pick number 31, first round pick, and a third round pick, and a sixth round pick. And the Patriots get Brown and a 2026 second round pick.
And a second round pick?
Yeah, Brown and a second.
I'm not doing it.
You're out on that.
I'm out on that, because to me, you're giving up. Basically, you're saying, I'll move up 20 spots and give you AJ Brown. Like that doesn't do it for me. I know you're getting a third and a sixth too. If the second round pick wasn't in the deal, if it was the one,
straight up, just the one.
Well, no, if you got the other picks too, I'm in.
You're in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're getting a 1, a 3, and a 6,
a 3, a 6, and a 1,
you don't have to give up the 2. Yeah, no. then I'm fine. But the 2, if giving up the 2, you're moving up 23 spots for what purpose? To give up AJ Brown. That's ridiculous.
All right, I hear you. Yeah. Okay, let's move on now. Let's go to the Sixers at the All-Star break, Ant.
Yeah.
They're sixth in the standings. They're I think, a game and a half ahead of the 7th spot, which is the play-in tournament.
Yep.
And tonight they resume against the Hawks with no Joel Embiid. Sore shin. Now it's the shin. Sore. Coming out of a break, he's not playing. And there's a lot of people cheesed about this. A lot of the Sixer fan base is cheesed about this. So let's pose this question. Is the criticism of Joel Embiid legit or too much?
I think it's too much, because I do feel for the guy, Mike. Like, in all honesty, it'd be different. This isn't like Andrew Bynum, right? Where the guy was
couldn't play at all.
Wouldn't play and didn't want to play. Let's be honest, right? Didn't want to play. Where I get the sense that Embiid is a guy that really, really does want to play, and he's legitimately dealing with injuries. Yes, sometimes they keep him out of game when you sit there and go, all right, load management, this is BS. But for the most part, I feel like he personally wants to be on the court. And so I do think that the criticism of him does go too far. But I think that there is some criticism that's worthy. And you and I were talking about this before the show. Like, he brought it on himself in a lot of ways, because he wasn't great at being in shape.
No, he wasn't in shape. I always thought he was overweight for his body frame. I know he's a big guy, and I know he can carry a lot of weight, but that doesn't mean you have to carry that kind of weight.
Correct. And so that's why I think it's fair. There is some criticism that you can throw towards Embiid, but you can't go overboard with it, because I do think that, now he's probably realized that, I did things earlier in my career that I probably shouldn't, and now I'm paying for it a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to All-Star Weekend. So you had the VJ Max combination did very well at the All-Star break. VJ winning for the kitty core, winning that game, and then Maxey starting in the All-Star game, and that didn't do very well in the 3-point contest. The Sixers news, they signed Cam Payne as a backup point guard. Not a big thing. He's been with the team before.
But you know what people got upset about with that, Mike?
Because they got rid of McCain.
They got rid of McCain and brought in
Cam Payne. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're talking about a different type of situation, a veteran who can come in and play some minutes as opposed to a guy who needs minutes to develop.
Correct.
So I get why they would bring in Cam Payne. It's like bringing in Ish Schmidt. You bring in, you play some minutes at point guard. It kills some minutes for us. It's like
he is an energy guy. He can make some threes. Like he's an energy guy.
Yeah, he's all right. He was playing in overseas though.
Yeah,
like the NBA had no more use for him.
Yeah, well, he was in camp with Indiana and didn't make the Pacers, which is that should tell you a little something, because everyone knew that team was going to be a less than stellar team this year because of the injury situation.
Let's get to the dunk contest. I like the skills competitions, whether it's in hockey or whether it's in basketball.
Yeah,
even more than the game, I think. But the dunk contest has really left a lot to be desired. I've had an idea that, to me, is gold.
Go ahead.
And you see all these YouTube videos of these young kids dunking. You get the best high school kid, best high school dunker against the best college dunkers against the best NBA dunkers. That would be the dunk contest. And you know that the NBA guys would be two each. 2 high school, 2 college, 2 NBA guys. You know that those NBA guys would never like to lose to those young kids.
Correct.
Which would put more of an emphasis on the competition part of the dunk contest. Am I right or am I wrong?
You are right. The only thing that I think you would have to flesh out a little bit is, well, 2 things. One, who's judging this, right? Because I think that can be kind of coerced. You know, like if the NBA guys are like, hey buddy, you got to vote for me or whatever, or they're saying, hey, let the kid win, and you let the kids win. Like, oh, what a great story, but then it goes away after 1 year. So you need some kind of impartial judging, and then secondarily, do you weight it at all? Is there anything weighted because a guy is professional?
No, weighted at all, because these dunkers are on an even level. If you've seen some of these young kids dunk basketball,
okay, yeah.
There's absolutely no weight at all to it. These kids, high school age versus college age versus pro.
I'm in. I would love it. I think it would be a great idea. I think it would be a great idea.
Why don't people listen to me? I've been talking about this for 20 years. It seems like such a fundamental idea.
Well, 20 years ago, you probably couldn't really do it because
of the amateur rules.
Yes,
but now I get it.
But now you can. Now
I'm ahead of my time. I can't believe that no one has caught on to this idea.
Exactly. That's a good one. I like it, Mike. I think you should go with that. By the way, Larry Frassetto says he actually enjoyed the All-Star game for the first time in a long time. It was competitive.
The different formats made it competitive, especially the USA against the world, which I really liked.
Yeah. So it worked out.
Okay.
It worked out. Good on the NBA.
Let's talk some baseball, Ant. Collective bargaining agreement. Tony Clark is out. Now, when he suddenly resigned, nobody thought anything of it until it came out that he had an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law, who had been hired by the Major League Players Association. You're as a man who covers baseball, your thoughts on the most tenuous time in the collective bargaining era, and the Major League Baseball Players Union guy is out. Your thoughts?
Where's Maury Povich when you need him? That's like, did you sleep with your sister-in-law? Yeah. You need that kind of show, and everybody chanting his name. Just fascinating. And look, I know that there has been a federal investigation into union leadership about some financial stuff, as far as what they were doing with certain money that they were potentially enriching themselves. And when I first saw it, that's what I kind of thought this was related to. Like, okay, maybe that federal investigation is about to come out and they're going to find out that he was like pocketing the money. Yeah. Oh no, this was an improper relationship with his sister-in-law, who happened, by the way, to work for the union.
Yes.
Which made it even crazier. That's a tough break for the Players Association, especially now. And I know that the guy that they brought in on an interim basis is a hardliner and supports the players 100%. But it's a tough spot to be in when you have somebody like that, when you have that hanging over you like that. That doesn't look good for the Players Association at all.
No, you're right about this. Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
And the question to the people who are watching this and listening to it right now. What side are you on? Are you on the player side or are you on the owner side this time? Because I think if you ask people that are watching, fans of baseball, they'll say, these salaries have gotten crazy. What the Dodgers are doing is crazy. There's no competitive balance anymore, blah, 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 blah. In which case you would be on the owner's side.
Yeah.
However, most of the time you're on the player side in general. So where do you think the line skews here?
I think that the line will always skew towards players. I think that the fans support players. If in a battle of billionaires versus millionaires, you support the millionaire because they're the little guy, right?
Yeah.
In that case, right? So I think fan interest will side with the players. And look, I know that I try to be objective because I do cover the sport, but I've never been a believer in salary caps. So in essence, I guess if I had to say who I would lean more toward here, I would lean more toward the players. I think there are ways to fix the finances of the game without implementing a salary cap. And I think that's what the players are going to try and do. Whether the owners go for it or not, I don't know. This might be their best opportunity because of what the Dodgers have done, because of the union leadership going awry, because of all the complaints that you hear out loud, all the yelling and screaming. This might be their best chance to get it implemented. I still don't think it gets there.
You don't know. Why don't you like a salary cap? It's interesting that because most people would say salary cap's good. It governs the game.
I don't think it governs the game at all. I think that I think it, because the idea is you sit there and say, well, it lets the owners who are not as wealthy be able to compete. But does it really? Does anyone sitting here think that if baseball implemented a salary cap, that all of a sudden the Pittsburgh Pirates owner is going to start spending more money? He's not. He's going to stay where the Marlins are going to spend more money. They're not. They're going to continue to spend towards the whatever the floor. Even if they set a floor, they're going to spend to the floor or just barely over it. They're not going to spend at the top. So you're not going to have that. And when you look at leagues that do have salary caps, Mike, I mean, look at the NFL, which is the most popular league in North America, right? Don't you have dynasties all the time? I mean, they've been 60 Super Bowls. The Patriots have been to 12, most of them in the last 20 years.
Well, that's where the expertise comes in. If you're all spending the same money, the expertise comes in the team that can win by spending the same money. That's why a salary cap is good, I think.
Yeah, but think about what they do, though. Look at what the Chiefs are doing with Patrick Mahomes, right? They just restructured his contract again. They're saving $40-some million of cap money just by it's all BS, and it's like, and then the Eagles do it with void years, which that needs to go away too. That's circumventing the cap. So teams find ways to circumvent caps. In the NHL, they would put players on long-term injury list, which took money off the cap temporarily, and then in the playoffs, you're allowed to bring the guy back because there's no salary cap in the playoffs, right? So teams do it all the time. They find ways around it. It doesn't make it, to me, it doesn't make it better. And these players in these leagues, the top end players are still making huge salaries. And the little guy, the average salary is still pretty low. It's not great. It's all favorite. Why do owners want it so much? They want it because it makes them money. They don't want it because it's better for competition. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, you're right about that part of it.
Yeah,
I think fans would be more comfortable in a salary cap world in baseball.
Fans might, but it doesn't.
Because let's face it, fans are getting gouged, and there's no end in sight to fans getting gouged.
All right, but I'll give you an example of this too, and this is another one that I don't believe that one prevents the other from happening. Somebody had sent me a photo of a letter that the Flyers had put out the year before the salary cap for season tickets. The year before the salary cap was, I'm sorry, not the year before the salary cap was first instituted. It was 1993, and the season tickets for the lower level cost $28 a ticket, right?
Yeah,
$28 a ticket. So within 10 years, you have a salary cap, right?
Yeah.
And then the prices skyrocketed thereafter. Skyrocketed. And now the salary cap's been in place since 2004, 2005. So we were 21 years into this, and their ticket prices just went up again. And you're paying.
So you're saying there's never going to be an end to ticket prices going up.
The ticket prices
no matter if there's a cap or not.
The ticket prices are always going to go up. Any kind of cost increase for player salaries is always going to be thrown onto the fans. So it doesn't matter if there's a cap. It just doesn't.
Okay. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. I want to talk some hockey. Pick Anthony's brain about the Olympics. USA.
Yeah.
Trying to go for another miracle here. They're not favored to beat Canada, by the way.
No, they're not.
But, if you found yourself on the injured list, you can get help now by calling Wapner Newman, PA in New Jersey's premier medical malpractice and injury attorneys. The number is 215-569-0900 or online at wapnernewman.com. It's the On Pattison podcast with me, Mike Miscellaneous, and Anthony Sanfilippo. We're back after this.
Flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitalgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capital Grille, Center City.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
At Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
All right, we are back on the Pattison podcast with Mike Miscellaneous, Anthony Sanfilippo. All right, and it's the Olympic hockey report. U.S. and Canada reached the semifinals. USA with a big overtime. Okay, hairy, by the way. They almost lost that game, but a big 2-1 overtime winner over Sweden was big for the USA. So how does the tournament evolve now from this point on? For
yeah, this is there's 4 teams left. You got Canada against Finland. It's the 1 and the 4, and then the 2 and the 3. USA against Slovakia.
Yes.
Slovakia ended up as the 3 based off of a round robin tiebreaker. I don't think they're the 3rd best team. Sweden was probably the 3rd best team, and the Americans knocked them off. It was a hell of a game. That game was unbelievable yesterday. It was 1-0 late. Sweden tied it, and then it goes to overtime, and Quinn Hughes with an absolutely amazing goal for the Americans.
Beautiful shot. That was a beautiful shot. It kicked the inside of the post. Bang. In.
Yeah, to win the game and send them onward. I think these 2 teams, Canada and U.S., are on a path to play each other for the gold medal. Canada, they got away with one yesterday, Mike, and I think that was usually a good team. You see it in the college basketball tournament all the time, where a higher seed has a scare early, and then they go on the run, right? And Czechia had them beat. They played a tremendous game against Canada. It came down. They took the lead they were fortunate in themselves. There were too many men on the ice, but nobody saw it, and the goal counted. But then they sat back in those last 3 minutes of the 3rd period with a 1-goal lead. If they would have kept pressuring Canada and playing physical against them like they had for 57 minutes, they would have won the game. They didn't. Canada ties it, and then Mitch Marner splits 3 defenders in overtime, and a backhand shot win the game for Canada to have them advance. So it's really going to be
overtime.
Yeah. 3 of the 4 quarterfinals games went overtime. Finland had to come from behind against Switzerland. They were down 2-0 and came back and won that one 3-2. So,
so you're enjoying it because you watch hockey a lot. I know last week you said you didn't like the Olympics. First of all, I love the Olympics, and I watch almost everything. But there's been too much bobsledding on TV. Every time you turn on TV, it's bobsled.
Do you have Peacock?
No.
So I do, and so and now I don't. I haven't been watching it because I told you I don't really care about the other stuff. I only care about the hockey. But every time I log into the Peacock to put the hockey on, it gives you your option. Like you pick the sport and you can watch it. So I did check in on a little bit of the curling because I know that there was a little bit of a controversy.
Yeah, I did watch some curling. Curling's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Get that thing to curl in.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. And the reason I like curling, Mike, is, and I don't know if I said this to you before, but I'll say it again if I have. It's the one sport where I sit there and go,
I could do that.
I could probably do that if I trained enough.
Yeah. You have to have a delicate little throw, though. It's like you got to spin it really nice.
Well, us Italians, we play bocce all the time, right?
Exactly.
And bocce's a very similar sport.
All right. So it's a small jump to curling,
right?
If you're good at bocce.
It's bocce on ice. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about let's get into some quick hitters. That's a fun part of the show. By the way, thank you to Bob Maziars. He says, great show. Look forward to this every week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, Bob.
Quick hitters. This first one I got to run past you.
Yeah.
Phillies signed an 11-year-old shortstop to a $1.8 million deal in Venezuela. Your thoughts?
I can't believe it. Now, I know he doesn't get the money until he's older.
He doesn't get the money, but he's got to get something. This is the way I look at this. It's like I'm familiar with, it's like buying an option on a screenplay.
Yeah.
Like a studio will buy an option on a screenplay. They won't necessarily want to make it right away, but they'll buy some years. But there's got to be some kind of exchange of money or whatever. So this family is getting something to protect them. This kid can't sign it for 5 more years, really, to get the $1.8 million. But he's got to be getting something because no other team can now come in and see as a 12-year-old sign him.
I was just fascinated by it because I'll tell you, Mike, and I cover baseball. I had no idea that you could sign somebody to a pre-agreement at age 11.
I didn't either. I had no idea either.
I was floored by
this kid must really be a dazzler for them to even consider doing something like this, right?
I mean,
he must be the most precocious kid in the world.
You're talking about a kid at 11 years old. We're talking we're 10 years before he's even considered as a major league potential person.
It's a lot of investment.
That's unbelievable.
His name, by the way, is David Basabe. So there you go. David Basabe.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's ever signed an 11-year-old before. This might be the youngest verbal commitment to a contract in pro sports that I know of.
It's pretty amazing. 2031 is when he can officially sign for the $1.8 million. But I haven't heard any details on what is the compensation now to keep him in under contract.
Yeah, I don't know if
you can talk to him.
I don't know what you can do. I don't know if you're allowed, right? Here's my question, Mike.
Well, then somebody can come in and sign him as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this.
There's got to be something binding in this. There's got to be some kind of binding.
I don't know what the pre-agreement is. I have no idea. I don't know. But here's the question I have: is he elite or is he not elite?
Well, he's gonna wear in Spanish saying no elito, no elito.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, explain this story for me. I don't quite get it. What's this Flyer fan mailing cannolis to and how?
I got to say, so I'm one of these guys. Okay, so this is a phenomenal story. So there's this guy who's a Flyers fan. He goes by the moniker Tony Escargot on Twitter, right?
Tony
Escargot. So Tony Escargot has been in my Snow the Goalie chat for a while. He's on Twitter. He's whatever. He comments on a lot of things. So he started, I want to say 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, he sent my partner, because he liked something my partner, Russ Joy, said on the show. He looked up Russ's address online and door-dashed him 2 cannolis as a thank you for something that Russ said. So I guess this guy, Tony Escargot, thought it would be a good idea that he would start cannoli bombing people anytime that they said something he agreed with. Well, next thing we knew, Tony Escargot was banned from Twitter. And he ended up, he sent us an email. He got locked up in jail in Doylestown for a night because somebody complained that he was making an unnecessary unwanted delivery and stalking by finding their addresses online. Right? And so then,
how many people was he sending cannolis to?
So it ended up being like 8 or 9 that he ended up sending them to. And somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody complained and got arrested. The best part about it is after he gets out of the prison in Doylestown, he has cannolis delivered to the Doylestown Police Department and has them posing for pictures with the cannolis in their hands. Okay. So, and then he gets back on Twitter. And then last week, it was my birthday last week. He sent me for my birthday. He sent me 4 cannoli.
There you go.
Yeah, good guy.
Were they fresh and edible?
Fresh and edible. They were good. They were good cannoli. They were good.
Where did they come from?
He got it from mine. Well, he looks for places that are close to where you live.
Oh, okay.
So I got it from L'Oreal and Media is where they came from. But I mean, whatever. So, yeah.
All right, there you go. There he is, Mr. Cannoli guy. But speaking of food, still Pat Steaks with a big transition this week. Did you see it?
No, I missed this. What's this?
They're going with seeded rolls now.
It's about damn time.
Pat Steaks. I think Aversa is the bakery they use. They're going with seeded rolls now for all their cheesesteaks.
They should.
You're Pat's or Gino's guy?
Neither. You know where
of course you're going to say neither. But if you're in that area and you're on a street corner,
I like
Pat's or Gino's.
Pat's is better than Gino's.
You think so?
Yeah, I like Pat's better than Gino's, but only because I don't like either one of them. In all honesty, I would go to either John's Roast Pork.
Oh, best in town.
That's my favorite.
Or Angelo's.
I like Angelo's too. And I used to. You know what else? I think is underrated is Phillips.
Yes, all the way down to Pattison. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? IMG Academy. I don't know if you saw this story.
No, I didn't.
IMG Academy agreed to pay a $1.72 million fine after processing tuition payment for 2 student athletes whose parents had ties to a Mexican drug cartel. I can't swear to God, I can't make this story up. They had fine. Like, who fines them? What kind of a fine? A $1.72 million fine. Somebody dug up the fact that they gave money to 2 student athletes who were tied to a Mexican drug cartel.
It's unbelievable, Mike.
I don't make these stories up, brother. I don't make them up.
I had not heard that, but that's fascinating.
All right, here's another one for you.
Yeah.
And I know you know about this. Olympic villagers ran out of condoms on day 3 of the Olympics. What the hell? What the hell is going on?
It's the biggest tournament the biggest competition of your life. You've trained your entire life for this, and you're over there and you're partying and hooking up with everybody. Like, what the hell's going on?
Why wouldn't you?
After you're done, once you're done and you're competed, fine. If it's the end of the tournament, like the end of the Olympics, I'm okay. I get it. But day 3?
What? What is the old adage that sex weakens legs? Like, they're ignoring that, I think, right?
Yeah. I wonder how
speed skaters are doing it.
How do you run out of condoms in 3 days?
Well, there's a lot of good-looking Scandinavians over there, Anthony. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. All right. By the way, Mick Cronin, the UCLA head coach, ejected his own player from a game after a flagrant 1 foul. I think the kid's name, let's see, center Steven Jamerson.
Yeah.
A former Michigan Stater was called for a flagrant foul for fouling Carson Cooper from behind on a dunk attempt. Cronin then sent his own player to the locker room. Your thoughts on that?
The video of it is fantastic. Like, he's grabbing the kid and he's telling him, get the hell out of here. Get out.
Get out.
He threw him out of the game, which was hysterical. Now they're getting blown out. Of course, Cronin's probably agitated because UCLA.
He's nuts. That guy's nuts, by the way. I don't know how he keeps his job. He's
back-to-back games that they got blown out by 20-some points. And then after the game,
lunatic.
Yeah, after the game, he was asked about it, and then he gets into it with a reporter after the game too, who asked him a question. He got that, so he was had a little bit of an attitude. But my favorite part of the whole thing, Mike, was Michigan State coach Tom Izzo. When they asked him about it,
flagrant too.
Yeah, he made it a flagrant too. That was the best part of the whole thing. I was like, I love Izzo getting involved. It was good.
All right, now Mark Cuban said
the
tanking is good for sports. You don't like that comment, do you?
No. He says it's good for fans. Is it? Do we really want people to sit there and go? We know every year, right, that there are in whatever sport, there's 6 to 8 teams that you sit there and go, okay, these are the teams that have the best chance at winning a championship. These 8 teams, but there's 30 teams in the leagues, right? So by Mark Cuban's rationale, the other 22 teams shouldn't even try. Just we'll lose on purpose. We'll all lose on purpose. And we'll hope to win a lottery down the line. It's terrible. It's a terrible idea. It's awful. Why
Well,
even have a season?
I got to be honest with you. I was a fan of the process.
Well, that's
I really
fine.
was, because at that time there was no other way to get good than to tank and to get high draft picks. Now I don't know if it's probably the same. They're still trying to tank, and the league can't do anything about it. Do you have any solutions for tanking?
Well, yeah, Adam Silver came out over the weekend and said that it's worse now than it's ever been in the NBA.
Yep.
And that if it continues, the league is looking at punitive stuff as far as like taking draft picks away from teams.
Yeah, take
right?
draft picks away. But how do you tell if you're tanking? Like maybe you're just a bad team. You're playing bad players.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, it can't be rampant, right? You can't do what some of these teams do in the NBA where they just trot out non-competitive lineups and star players are sitting or whatever, nursing injuries that they don't really have. That's losing on purpose, right? It's one thing to have a bad team, and as long as they're out there competing, hey, bad teams are bad teams. But the other thing you can do is you could start to limit the number of times a team can win a lottery or, be in the top 5. Like you can sit there and say, okay, you got in the top 5 this year, not allowed in it next year. So you got to compete.
Yeah.
And if you are one of the worst teams,
everything is subject to lawsuits though and antitrust violations. So the league can't really overstep. They'll get sued for it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, new name for the NovaCare Center. It's called the Miscellaneous Football Complex. No, it's called the Jefferson Health. There's gonna be Jefferson Health coming in there. No more NovaCare Center.
Yeah, but you know what? This is Philadelphia. You know what that means? Everybody's still going to refer to it as NovaCare.
No, they'll call it the Jeff.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think people will adopt it?
It'll take a couple years. The Jeff.
Yeah.
Like the Citizens Bank Park, the bank. People like to shorten it that way.
Yeah, I get it, but I try to imagine. Maybe we haven't really. I mean, we've had it for the hockey arena, and I think that there are still people who call the hockey arena old names. Like, I mean, we got used to Wells Fargo, and now
it's the Wachovia Center.
Yeah, we got
First Union Center.
First Union, the FU Center. That was the best one.
Yeah, the FU Center was great.
Yeah, that was the best one. And now it's the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Like people are always going to get confused and call it by something that it's not. I just think that we've
keep calling it the NovaCare Center.
I think it's like, all right, we talk about Twitter, right? It's no longer Twitter, it's X, but everybody calls it Twitter.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same thing. Like some in writing will say at the Jefferson Health Complex, but I think fans will refer to it as NovaCare.
Okay. All right, last thing I want to talk about today, unless you have some other things on your mind.
No.
Boogie Cousins was on a podcast. And he said what one improvement that they can make to All-Star Weekend is to have journalists take the floor and play a game against each other, so they can embarrass themselves because they criticize players so much. Now here's a chance for players to make fun of the journalists playing basketball. Your thoughts on that?
I think it would be hysterical. It wouldn't embarrass us. So let me put it this way. The Flyers used to do you remember Trial on the Aisle? Do you remember that thing that they used to do in the summertime?
No.
They used to have a thing every summer during like their rookie development camp where they took you down to Stone Harbor every summer, and there was some kind of athletic competition amongst the prospects, right?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
So one year they were doing this tag team triathlon, and they asked the media to participate. So Frank Saravalli, who at the time was with the Daily News, Wayne Fish from Bucks County, and myself were the media team. And Frank did the bicycle portion. I did the stand-up paddleboard, and Wayne Fish did the running part, the 5K.
Really? Wow.
We came in dead last. We were awful. But we did it, and it was fun, and we got a laugh out of it, and it was a good time. So I would be totally fine with it. I think it would be hysterical.
Yeah, here's the problem. It's not. It doesn't make any sense. What would make sense if the players criticize how the media people did their jobs. Like that's their job. Like they're not athletes, so but their job is to write or to broadcast or to commentate or whatever. That's what they should be judged on. You say, you're a lousy writer, and here I can prove it.
Yeah, well, sure. And maybe what you do is you have the players broadcast that game and talk about the writers during the broadcast.
Yeah, that's a terrible broadcast because he just pronounced 3 words wrong, as if they would know.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Anything else on your mind today, Ann?
No, that's it, Michael. That's it.
All right, that's it's going to be a wrap on this particular show today, the On Pattison podcast with me, Mike Miscellaneous, Anthony Sanfilippo. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening, and have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.